Good morning, my fellow teachers. I'm going to show you how to play a couple of games for some Tier 2 students that might need some extra assistance. And this first game is for a third grade class. So in third grade, one of the TEKs is describing the relationship between availability or scarcity of resources and how that impacts the cost. So the main idea that you want to get across to your students that is that if there's an item that's scarce or that's not available, that cost is going to go up. And if there is an abundance of an item or there's a great availability of an item, that means the cost will go down. So that's the main, and there's different things that impact scarcity and that impact the availability too. So there's going to be some scenarios that are going to be, this is going to be a matching game. So it's pretty simple as far as how the game is played. But there are different things that you can do to make this game more challenging, to scaffold it, or you can also make it a little bit easier by taking some of the cards away if you have to. And then you can kind of scaffold and add cards in as you go. So here's some of the scenarios. And I try to do scenarios that children can relate to. Every fourth grader that I've come in contact with, they all love Urban Air for some reason. So I thought about, well, what if Urban Air has a new trampoline park that opens next door? That means that they're not going to have as many customers and they're going to need more customers. So they're going to have to offer a coupon to lower their cost to make up for their lack of business, right? So that's just one of the scenarios. But before you even start the game, what you may need to do with the students is review that following content with them. Review the scarcity and review cost, talk about how they are related to each other, and then just get them familiar with the game board pieces first. So you're going to want to, you can have them cut out the pieces or you can have the pieces cut out for them already. And each piece is going to have a different color, right? So they'll be able to know right away if the pieces match together because you'll have two matching pieces with the same color. But you can also ask them guiding questions as you're doing the matching game. So you're going to put the cards down and you're going to mix them up. And as they flip out a card, so if, like, say, for example, they flip out a card that says scarcity of a new video game because everybody wants it. So you're saying, okay, if this is scarce, then what do you think is going to happen to the cost of that video game? So before you even start flipping other cards to look for the match, you can ask some of those guiding questions to kind of get their mind thinking of, okay, well, how is that going to affect? What kind of a card am I going to be looking for? So then they'll be able to reaffirm if they're right or not when they find the match. And the match says that the cost of the video game goes up. So that's just one example. And then if you have a point where you finish the matching game and you have two students that get the same number of matching cards, you can actually do a bonus tiebreaker and have them include their own scenarios and give their own scenarios of scarcity and cost. And whoever comes with the best scenario or the most scenarios for scarcity and cost, they will win that game. And you can also print blank cards, and you can make it even more challenging by printing those blank cards and having them write their own scenarios and then use the matching game with those cards. So that can make it more challenging as well. You can also just add more scarcity and cost cards yourself to it. So there's a lot of different ways that you can play with this game or add to it, or if you need to take cards away for those students that need that are having a little bit of a challenge with it, you can do that as well. So that's what I've got as far as my third grade game. Do we have any feedback or questions about that?
I like the bonus tiebreaker and the printing the blank cards ideas. I think that really challenges the student and, you know, helps them with those critical thinking skills. So I like that.
Yeah.
I agree. I also like how you talked about asking the guided questions. So like, what would happen to the cost if, you know, the video game is scarce and there's not a lot of them? So that can really also help them kind of think about the scenarios more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. Even though the game itself is kind of a simple matching game, there's a lot of different ways that you can work with it and make it more challenging for the students. So that's my third grade game. I'm going to show you guys my fifth grade game now. So this fifth grade game is called Tax Bingo. Okay, Tax Bingo. Can you guys see that? Can you see the Tax Bingo? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So Tax Bingo is going to be another game where you can do a lot of scaffolding to it. So the first thing that you're going to do in Tax Bingo is and it covers this TEK about defining income tax, payroll tax, and sales tax. The first thing that you're going to do with them is go over the vocabulary list on the bottom. So each student will get their own bingo card. You're going to have them go over the vocabulary list at the bottom so they know what tax means what. And then they're going to fill in the bingo card themselves. So this ensures that each bingo card is going to be different. So they can put, for example, sales tax paid on, they could put any of those words in the word bank that will relate to sales tax. So they could put clothing, they can put video games, they can put toys or shoes. And there's 3 different spots on the bingo game that have that spot where they can put that in there. So their bingo cards are going to end up looking different. And then, so after they fill out their bingo cards with the word bank, the teacher's going to go through and make sure that those bingo cards are filled out properly and that the right tax is going to the right word in the word bank. Once the teacher checks the bingo card, you're going to play bingo card with using chips. I just found some chips from my board game that I had here at home, but you can use anything. You can use Fruit Loops coins, anything that would be fun for the students to use, Skittles. And then you're going to play that bingo game. So you're going to randomly call out, as a teacher, you're going to randomly call out, okay, income tax due on Social Security, or payroll tax, I'm sorry, taken out for Social Security. Income tax would be due on April 15th. So you're going to call out each one randomly and just kind of check off as you go to make sure that you're keeping track of what you're calling out. And then when a student has 3 in a row, then they're going to say bingo, and you're going to check their card to make sure that they actually did get a bingo, and then they will have won the game. And you can play this game multiple times. They can fill out cards different ways. And some things that you can do to make it more challenging, if you know that they should already know the vocabulary list on the bottom, just get some scissors and cut it off. And then they can play that same game without having the vocabulary list as a guide there. So that can make it more challenging. You can also make the board bigger by adding more squares on the document and more words in the word bank. Or you can also make it easier for students that are having a hard time by having 1 or 2 or 3 squares already filled out already, and then they would fill out the rest of it. So those are just some different things that you can do with this game. And yeah, I mean, it seems like a pretty simple game, but again, you can do a lot of different things to adjust it and scaffold to the students. Okay, any questions or comments on that one?
I like that you said that all their cards will be different because they're kind of filling it out independently. So that'll let them kind of feel like they did their own card and, you know, things like that. You know how kids are, they like to have their own things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of cutting it off just to make it a little bit more challenging. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be a really easy thing to do, is just cut it off and just tell them, okay, you figure it out on your own now. Okay, well, thank you guys for your feedback. And I appreciate you guys listening to my games today, and I'm hoping that they can help your class out in the future. Thank you.